Hi there, this is Unmesh from PiXimperfect, and today I'm going to share with you how to perform high-end skin retouching with just 2 layers in Photoshop. Yes, you heard it right. Just 2 layers with the simplest techniques. Now, it's going to be simple, but I didn't say it's going to be easy. But I'm sure if we practice, it's going to be fun for all of us. So without any further ado, let's get started. Back in the brilliant world of Photoshop, and as usual, if you want to go ahead and download this photo and follow along, you know what to do, check the links in the description. The first thing we need to do is to press D. D for default. What is that going to do? That's going to set the foreground and the background color to black and white. We're going to need that for dodging and burning. Also keep in mind when you press X, you toggle between the foreground and the background color. The next thing we're going to do is to create a brand new layer. Click on the new layer button right in there. And then the first layer is going to be about removing all those blemishes, because doing that with dodging and burning might result in some discoloration. We want to avoid that. So let's just zoom in and let's name this Remove Blemishes so that you remember the step. If time is not an issue to remove the blemishes in the highest quality possible, we need to use the regular healing brush tool, not the spot, the regular one. Let's zoom in right there and slowly and gradually just make sure first of all that sample is set to current and below so that it samples the layer which is beneath it as well. Also, we are doing it non-destructively. So let's make the brush a little larger, hold the Alt key or the Option key, click to take a sample and just paint over the blemish. Very simple, right? So let's turn it off and on and let's see, simply covered. Now we don't want to remove all the blemishes so clean that it begins to look unrealistic. And that's why it's not very advisable that you zoom in all the way to probably 400% and start removing every single speck. We don't have to do that. We need to keep the skin look natural. So zoom out, keep it at about 100 or 200% and then only remove the blemishes which are distracting you. Also, do not remove anything which is permanent. Again, it's personal preference. We don't want to go around and keep removing birthmarks or stuff like that because those things make the person who they are. A good rule of thumb to follow here is to remove the blemishes which are temporary. Now, one of the exceptions that I would make here is while removing wrinkles, you sometimes probably need to zoom in to maintain the accuracy. So let's zoom in and get next to the wrinkles right there. Now, if there are some wrinkles that you want to keep them slightly and not completely remove it, maybe partially do it. So here's what you can do. So let's say you don't want to completely remove this line. You want to partially remove it. So here's what you do. You hold the Alt key or the Option key, click to take a sample and then remove it completely and then go to Edit and Fade Healing Brush. It is the opacity of just the previous brush stroke. So if we take it all the way to the left, there are no changes made, so we can slowly and gradually increase it to partially remove it. So let's keep it at about 80%, hit OK. So there you go, it looks perfectly fine to me. Let's take a look at the before and after. So this is before removing blemishes and this is after removing blemishes. Makes a hell lot of difference. Might be minute, but it's very different when you put the picture together. Let's move on to the next step, which is dodging and burning. And this time, to fit it all in, both dodging and burning in just one layer, we're going to do it a little differently. We will use blend modes. So press Ctrl-Shift-N. The new layer dialog box is going to show up. We can name this dodging and burning and change the blend mode from normal to soft light. Now we can also choose overlay, but overlay is a little harsher. So we're going to choose soft light and choose fill with soft light neutral color, which is 50% gray. Now the way overlay and soft light works is that it's going to hide everything which is 50% gray. Anything which is brighter than 50% gray, it's going to brighten. Anything which is darker than 50% gray, that area it's going to darken. So we're going to use the same principle here to dodge and burn because that's what dodging and burning is, right? Dodging means brightening and burning means darkening. So hit OK. There you go. Now, as you can see, there's a gray layer right there, but you cannot see the gray right here in the canvas. Why? Because it hides everything which is 50% gray. Now, if you take a brush and just paint with white, and that's why I asked you to press D in the very beginning of the tutorial, because we want the foreground and the background color to be black and white. So now if you paint with, let's say, white, flow and opacity at 100, see, anywhere you paint white, that area is being darkened. If you paint with black, if we press X, the foreground color is going to be black. It's going to toggle the foreground and the background color. Now if we paint, any area that we paint, those areas are going to be darkened. So let's go back and let's do this all over the skin, but a little more subtly and a little more carefully and a little more artistically. So decrease the flow to 1% or 2%. For my style, I usually go with the lowest number I can possibly achieve, that is 1 over here. This doesn't mean that if Adobe Photoshop starts introducing decimals, you're going to go 0.001. That would be stupid. Take the brush. But I might do that anyway. Now, before we start dodging and burning, we all have to understand that one of the most common mistakes we might end up doing is that, let's say, we are zoomed all the way in. We are dodging and burning and just flattening out the skin, making it smooth, making it awesome. But when you zoom out, it just doesn't look right. Maybe it looks unnatural. Maybe it looks more uneven. Maybe it looks too even that it doesn't even look like skin. We don't want to do that. We want to avoid that. So how do we do it? By having the right perception, by looking at the big picture. Let's say I wrote a 6 on the table, on this table, and you're sitting right across me. To you, you might say this is not a 6, it is 9. You see how perceptions matter? That's why we need to have the right perception so that we can make better judgments, right decisions, and make better retouching. So go to Window, Arrange, and then New Window for Retouch Skin PiXimperfect or whatever your document name is. Click on that. That way you will have 2 documents for the exact same image. Now keep in mind, these are not duplicates. These are the same document. You're just looking at it differently. So with the second document, we're going to zoom out. With the first document, we're going to zoom in 100%. Now let's go to Window and Arrange again to Up Vertical. So the right one is zoomed out and the left one is zoomed in. Whatever changes we're going to make here, let's say, let's make this area darker. It's going to replicate over there. Why? Because it's the same document, opened separately. All right, let's change the flow to 1% and let's get to work. One good practice is avoid zooming in beyond 100% as much as you can. Sometimes you might have to, but most of the time keep it at 100%. You know why? Because if we zoom in too much and start correcting every pixel, and then when we zoom out, the skin looks plasticky. Remember, the goal is always to keep the skin look natural, if that's the look that you're going for. So as you can see, just below the eye, there is this dark area. We just have to choose white as the foreground color and paint over it. That's it, brighten that area. Have a look. So this is the before and this is the after. It looks natural. The results are amazing. Now, whenever you feel the difficulty of painting in a certain direction, you can always rotate the canvas temporarily. By holding the R key, it'll take you to the rotate view tool, rotate it, and release the R key. It's going to take you back to the brush tool. If it doesn't, press B for the brush tool, R for the rotate view tool. You get the point. Let's get back to the brush tool and resume painting. Now keep in mind, anytime you feel like there are any other areas that you want to darken instead of brightening, you just change the color to black by pressing X. Now it is black. Now when you paint that area, it's going to be darkened. I'm going to paint here a little bit just to show you what it does. So here's the before, here's the after. You see I've darkened that area. This is just to show you the difference between brightening and darkening. Now let me share with you a problem that you might come across. So let's say you're retouching here and you are doing some intricate dodging and burning, and you feel that you have done something wrong and that area just doesn't look right. Instead of going to black and white and painting over it and fixing it, is there a way to erase it? Well, you might think, let's take the eraser tool and erase it. Well, that's not going to work because this is a gray layer, and erasing it, it's going to make it difficult for you to paint over it again. It's going to be a whole mess. In that case, you have to choose the gray color. You can also save it in your swatch for convenience. You can go to Window and then Swatches and click on the new swatch button. I don't want to save it to my library. And let's create a white color and let's choose black as the foreground color now. Click on it again. Create a black color and let's set the foreground color to 808080 hex code, or RGNB all at 128, or HSB0050. Hit OK. Now with gray as the foreground color, click on the new button again and we can name this gray 50%. Alright, hit OK. Now anytime you want to erase something, you can choose gray and just simply paint over that area. Let's increase the flow, paint over that area that is erased. Alright, if you want to get back to black, choose black. If you want to get back to white, choose white right here. So we are brightening, choose black, we are darkening. You get the point. Now you can do it this way, have all the three colors at your disposal, or when you're confident, you can just keep black and white right here. Don't care about the swatches, because when you're confident, you're less likely to make mistakes. And then just keep painting, press X to invert the foreground and the background color, and just move forward from there. So I'm going to speed it up from right here and let's see where it takes us.
It's night in the city and I'm on my way back home, humming on my favorite ditty, swinging like Natalie Cole. But then out of the blue, who strolls down the boulevard but you? Your place is closer than mine. Why don't we go there and have some more wine? 'Cause life is for living. Let's see where this all might lead. Let's see where this all might lead. Waking up to a brand new day in between your sheets, breaking up in the best of ways, and I'm back again on the street. Ooh, but then out of the blue, a wind starts blowing in ways so new. A world more exciting than mine is holding up a great big welcoming sign. Life is for living. Let's see where this all might lead. But then out of the blue, who strolls down the boulevard but you? Your place is closer than mine.
Now as you can see, this looks pretty okay. Now as I go through the face, I cannot find a place where I can even down the skin tones. So to find imperfections, another great technique is hold the R key, the rotate view tool, and then just turn the face upside down. What happens is our brain gets so used to the face that we stop recognizing the places that we need to work on. Now let's look at the portrait and find out places where we need to brighten or darken to level the skin up. Once you're satisfied and you want to reset the view, just hold the R key and click on the Reset View button. Release the R key and it will again take you back to the brush tool. Now if you want, you can close the second document. We don't need this anymore. So there you go, my friend. I think it's ready. Let's take a look at the before and after. First of all, let's zoom in 100%. Now here is the after and this is the before. So before, after. Let's take a look at the massive difference. Now first of all, just two layers. First, removing blemishes, and the second one is simply dodging and burning. Now you can take all the time in the world to do the rest of the body, and also from here you can take it any way you want. Probably color correction, and from there sharpening, maybe retouching the eyes, the lips, if she's smiling, the teeth, hair, and all of that. But this is how you can simply retouch skin, even out the skin with just two layers. Now if you're someone who seeks natural results, you can always decrease what? The opacity. So if 100 doesn't suit well for you, you can decrease it to something that looks natural to you, probably 60%. It looks a little more natural. So here's the before, here's the after, before and after of dodging and burning, not with blemishes. Blemishes, we always want to keep it 100. All right. Also, if you want, you can go even lower, probably at around 40% if you wish to. But for me, to show you the biggest difference between before and after, because since we are learning with online video, a lot of details are lost. Also, I need you to notice the major difference, the big difference, so that you can understand what is going on. And that's why most of the times I go over the top. You can always dial it down by using your best friend, that is the opacity slider. Let's take it all the way to 100 so that you can see the maximum difference. So here's the before and here is the after. The difference is magnificent. Just a quick little recap, and this is going to be pretty quick. First of all, let's create a brand new layer. Let's name this removing the blemishes or whatever you want to name it, or don't name it, don't organize it and get lost later. But anyway, just create a brand new layer, and with the help of the regular healing brush tool, just make sure the sample is current and below. Sample the regular areas of the skin and paint over the blemishes. Cover all the blemishes. On top of that, create a brand new layer, fill it with gray, or you can simply press Ctrl Shift N, Command Shift N. The new layer dialog box is going to show up. Change the blend mode to soft light and check fill with soft light neutral color. Or otherwise, you can just fill the layer with gray, change the blend mode to soft light. You get the point. Then you simply take a soft round brush. Now this is important. The brush should not have pressure sensitivity. It will get very difficult for you to deal with pressure sensitivity and also a very low flow at the same time. So no pressure sensitivity, flow at 1 or 2, and start painting with white and black. And to be able to do that, set the foreground and the background color to black and white so that you can switch between them by pressing X. I hope this video helped you, and if it did, make sure to give us a like, and also don't forget to subscribe, and not just subscribe. Ring the bell so that you, my friend, don't miss any other featured tips, tricks, or tutorials. I would like to take this moment to thank all these nice and amazing people for supporting this channel on Patreon and helping keep PiXimperfect free for everybody forever. Before I go, also one more announcement. Just a little reminder, please do connect with me on Instagram. You don't have to follow me. Don't worry, I'm not that kind of person who's going to ask you to follow me, please. You don't have to do that. Just go to our Instagram account. The reason I'm asking you to do that is because there are a lot of Photoshop tips in there as well. So what I do, when we create long videos on YouTube, we take little parts, little sections of those videos and upload them daily or probably 2 or 3 times a week to just give you a reminder of what you learned and remind you of the techniques and maybe share with you some new techniques. So do check the account, watch the videos. You don't have to follow me. Just my love is always with you. Thank you for staying at home and saving the world, and I wish that you and your family stay safe, healthy, and most importantly, happy. I'll see you guys again in my next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.
Life is for living. Let's see